The divorce papers landed on her hospital blanket before her husband even said hello. Eleanor could not move. 3 broken ribs, a punctured lung, a fractured pelvis. She had been waiting for Grant to hold her hand, to tell her everything would be okay. Instead, he brought paperwork. "Sign while you are still in good spirits from the medication," he said. Then he checked his watch, twice, like she was just another appointment on his calendar. But Grant made one fatal mistake that day. He did not know his wife's estranged father was a secret trillionaire. He did not know that father had been watching from the shadows for 15 years. And 6 months ago, that father had quietly purchased Grant's entire company, every stolen dollar, every hidden account, every lie Grant had ever told. Someone had been keeping records. What happens when a man who thinks he is untouchable discovers he has been playing chess against someone who owns the entire board? Stay until the end. Because the moment Grant walks into that boardroom and sees who is really sitting at the head of the table will leave you absolutely speechless. Lesson and value. Before we begin, here is what this story will teach you. Sometimes the prison door has been unlocked all along. We stay trapped, not because we cannot leave, but because we are afraid to walk through. The people who hurt us count on our fear. They count on our silence. They count on us believing we deserve what they give us. This story is for every woman who has ever felt invisible, for every person who stayed too long because leaving felt impossible, for everyone who needs to hear that accepting help is not weakness. It is the beginning of freedom. The divorce papers landed on her hospital blanket before her husband even said hello. Eleanor Whitmore could not move. 3 broken ribs, a punctured lung, a fractured pelvis. She had been lying in this hospital bed for 3 days, waiting for Grant to hold her hand, waiting for him to tell her everything would be okay, waiting for the man she had loved for 12 years to show up and be her husband. Instead, he brought paperwork. Grant stood at the foot of her bed in his perfectly pressed Italian suit. His tie was immaculate. His shoes were polished. He looked like he was closing a business deal, not visiting his injured wife. "Sign while you are still in good spirits from the medication," he said. Then he checked his watch, twice, like she was just another appointment on his calendar. But Grant Whitmore made one fatal mistake that day. He did not know his wife's estranged father was a secret trillionaire. He did not know that father had been watching from the shadows for 15 years. And 6 months ago, that father had quietly purchased Grant's entire company, every stolen dollar, every hidden account, every lie Grant had ever told. Someone had been keeping records. What happens when a man who thinks he is untouchable discovers he has been playing chess against someone who owns the entire board? What happens when a woman who lost everything finds the strength to take it all back? This is not just a story about revenge. This is a story about a woman who thought she needed to be saved and discovered she had the power to save herself all along. Stay until the end. Because the moment Grant walks into that boardroom and sees his wife sitting at the head of the table will leave you speechless. The fluorescent lights hummed above Eleanor's bed. The heart monitor beeped its steady rhythm. The morphine drip clicked every few seconds, releasing another dose of medication into her veins. She had been staring at the ceiling for 72 hours, counting the tiles, waiting for Grant. The car accident had happened on a Tuesday afternoon. A drunk driver ran a red light and slammed into the driver's side of Eleanor's sedan. She remembered the sound of crunching metal. She remembered the world spinning. She remembered waking up in the emergency room with doctors shouting numbers she did not understand. 3 broken ribs, a punctured lung, a fractured pelvis, 6 hours of surgery, a recovery time of at least 3 months. And through all of it, Grant had not come. He had sent flowers on day 1, a generic bouquet from the hospital gift shop with a card that said, "Thinking of you. Get well soon." No signature, no promise to visit, just flowers that were already starting to wilt. On day 2, he had sent a text message. "Stuck in meetings. We'll try to stop by tomorrow." Now it was day 3, and Grant had finally arrived, but he had not come to comfort her. He had not come to hold her hand, or stroke her hair, or tell her that he loved her. He had come to end their marriage. Eleanor stared at the manila envelope on her blanket. The words swam in front of her eyes. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Irreconcilable differences. Division of assets. "I have been thinking," Grant said. His voice carried that calm, measured tone he used in boardroom presentations. "This is the right time for both of us to move forward separately." Eleanor tried to sit up. Pain exploded through her ribcage. She gasped and fell back against the pillows. "Grant," she managed to say. Her voice came out hoarse, cracked from disuse. "What are you talking about?" He pulled a chair close to the bed. Not to comfort her, to explain. He sat down and crossed his legs like they were having a casual conversation over coffee. "I have already moved my things out of the house." "Bobo," he said. "I am staying at the Riverside Hotel until I find a permanent place. My lawyer has flagged all the relevant sections in the paperwork. You should sign while you are still in good spirits from the medication." Eleanor laughed. The sound startled her. A morphine-addled, disbelieving laugh that made her broken ribs scream in protest. "You are joking," she said. "This is some kind of sick joke." But then she looked at his face. Really looked. And she saw the truth written in his cold blue eyes. He was serious. He had been waiting for this moment. He had calculated this timing with the precision of the CFO he was. He had waited until she was immobilized, drugged, vulnerable, unable to fight back. "Grant." Her voice cracked. "We have been married for 12 years. "Exactly," he said. 12 years is long enough to know when something is not working. He checked his watch again. The gesture felt like a slap. "I will give you time to read through everything," he continued. "My lawyer needs the signed papers by Friday. That gives you 3 days. I think that is more than fair." Fair? He thought abandoning his injured wife and demanding a divorce while she could not even walk to the bathroom was fair. Grant stood up. He brushed invisible lint from his perfectly pressed pants. He straightened his tie. He looked at her one more time with those cold eyes that used to look at her with love, or at least she had thought it was love. "I will be in touch," he said. And then he walked out. The door clicked shut behind him. The sound echoed in the sterile room like a gunshot. Eleanor stared at the manila envelope. She stared at the wilting flowers. She stared at the ceiling tiles she had memorized over the past 72 hours. She did not cry. The shock was too complete for tears. Her phone buzzed on the bedside table. She reached for it slowly, every movement sending pain radiating through her broken body. The screen showed an unknown number, the same number that had called 6 times this week. She had ignored it every time, assuming it was spam. This time there was a voicemail. The transcription appeared on her screen. "Eleanor, this is urgent. I know what your husband is planning. I know because I am the one who..." The message cut off. Eleanor stared at the screen. Her heart rate increased. The monitor beeped faster. A nurse appeared in the doorway. "Mrs. Whitmore, is everything all right? Your readings just spiked." "I am fine," Eleanor said. The lie came automatically. "Just a bad dream." The nurse checked her vitals, adjusted her medication, fluffed her pillow with practiced efficiency. "Your husband was here, earlier," the nurse said. "He did not stay long. Is he coming back?" Eleanor looked at the divorce papers on her blanket. "No," she said quietly. "I do not think he is." When the nurse left, the room fell silent again. Eleanor picked up the envelope with trembling fingers. She pulled out the stack of papers, page after page of legal language, terms and conditions for ending a life together. She found the page with the sticky note arrow. "Sign here," Grant had written in his neat handwriting. As if this was just another contract, just another deal to close. Eleanor thought about their wedding day, Grant's vows, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, until death do us part. Apparently, sickness changed the terms of the agreement. The unknown number called again. Eleanor watched the phone ring 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Then it went to voicemail. Who was calling? What did they know about Grant's plans? And how could they possibly know anything about her marriage falling apart? She did not have answers. She only had questions. Questions and a stack of divorce papers and the hollow feeling that her entire life had just shattered into pieces she could not begin to put back together. The morphine pulled her towards sleep. She fought it, tried to think clearly, tried to make sense of what had happened, but the drugs were stronger than her will. Her last thought before unconsciousness took her was about Grant's face, the way he looked at her, or rather, the way he did not look at her, like she was already gone, like she was already erased, like she had never mattered at all. The morning light hurt Eleanor's eyes when she woke. Someone had opened the blinds. The sun streamed through the window, like it did not know her world had ended. She was more alert today. The doctors had reduced her morphine dose, and with clarity came the crushing weight of what had happened. Grant's words played on repeat in her mind. "This is the right time for both of us. I have already moved my things. Sign while you are still in good spirits. The cruelty of it. The calculated precision." He had waited until she was at her most vulnerable, until she could not fight back, until she could not even stand on her own 2 feet. "Girl, I am going to kill him." Eleanor turned her head. Maureen DeLuca stood in the doorway. Mo, her best friend of 20 years, a nurse at this very hospital, and from the look on her face, she already knew everything. Mo stormed into the room. Her scrubs were wrinkled from a long shift. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun. Her brown eyes blazed with righteous fury. "The whole floor is talking," Mo said. "That smug piece of work came in here yesterday and handed you divorce papers while you are lying here with a collapsed lung, while you can barely move. I swear to God, Eleanor, I will find him and I will hurt him, Mo." Eleanor's voice was weak. "How did you know?" "Honey, this is a hospital. Everyone knows everything within 15 minutes. Mo pulled up a chair. She took Eleanor's hand in both of hers. Her grip was warm and fierce and exactly what Eleanor needed. "Tell me what happened," Mo said. Every word he said, Eleanor told her. The manila envelope, the calm explanations, the watch checking, the Friday deadline. Mo's face grew darker with every sentence. "That man is a snake," Mo said, "and I should have told you years ago." Eleanor's blood ran cold. "Told me what?" Mo hesitated. She looked at the door, then back at Eleanor. Something shifted in her expression. A decision made. "Honey, I have been biting my tongue for 3 years. That man has been cheating on you since before your hysterectomy." The room tilted. Eleanor gripped the bed rails with white knuckles. "What?" "Vivian Holt, junior executive at his company. I have seen them together, Eleanor. I have pictures." Mo pulled out her phone. She scrolled through her camera roll. Then she turned the screen toward Eleanor. Grant and a woman at a restaurant. Their heads close together, his hand on her arm. The woman was younger, blonde, beautiful, wearing a red dress that probably cost more than Eleanor's entire wardrobe. Another photo. Grant's car parked outside an apartment complex. The same woman walking toward it. Another and another and another. Dates spanning back 3 years. Mo. Eleanor could barely breathe. Why did you not tell me? Because you were not ready to hear it. Mo's voice softened. Every time I tried to bring it up, you shut me down. You said Grant was working late. You said he was stressed. You said your marriage was going through a rough patch, but you would work it out. She was right. Eleanor had said all those things, had believed them, had wanted to believe them so badly that she had ignored every warning sign. The late nights at the office, the new cologne, the way Grant stopped touching her after the hysterectomy. He claimed he did not want to hurt her while she healed. She thought he was being considerate, but he was already gone, already with someone else. The hysterectomy was 2 years ago. Eleanor whispered, I know, honey. He started pulling away during my recovery. I thought it was me. I thought I was not attractive anymore. I thought... Her voice broke. The tears finally came, hot and angry and humiliating. Mo held her while she cried, did not say anything wise, just held her. When the tears subsided, Eleanor's phone buzzed again, the same unknown number. Mo grabbed it before Eleanor could react. Who is this? Mo demanded into the phone. She is in the hospital, you vulture. Whatever you are selling, she does not want it. Silence. Then Mo's face changed. Her jaw dropped. Hold on, Mo said slowly. She handed the phone to Eleanor. It says he is your father. Eleanor took the phone with numb fingers. She pressed it to her ear. Eleanor. A man's voice, older, familiar, in a way that made her stomach clench. Eleanor, please do not hang up. Dad. She had not spoken to Raymond Calloway in 15 years. Not since her mother's funeral. Not since she discovered he had been secretly wealthy the entire time her mother fought cancer. The entire time they struggled to pay for treatments. The entire time her mother died slowly because they could not afford the best care. Eleanor had called him a coward, a liar, a fraud. She had sworn never to speak to him again, and yet here he was, calling from an unknown number, calling while she lay broken in a hospital bed. What do you want? Her voice was ice. I know what your husband is planning, Raymond said. I know because I have been watching. I have taken steps, Eleanor. I have taken steps to protect you. I do not need your protection. I do not need anything from you. Please just listen. Your husband has been moving money, marital assets, into offshore accounts for 2 years. He is planning to leave you with nothing, less than nothing. He is planning to leave you with his debt. Eleanor's heart pounded. The monitor beeped faster. Mo watched with wide eyes. How do you know this? Eleanor demanded. Because 6 months ago, I bought his company. The words did not make sense. They could not make sense. What? Whitmore Technologies. Grant's company? I own the controlling interest through a shell corporation. Grant does not know. No one knows. But I know everything he has been doing, Eleanor. Every dollar he has stolen. Every lie he has told. And I can help you if you will let me. Eleanor's hand shook. The phone nearly slipped from her grasp. Why? She asked. Why would you do this? You have not spoken to me in 15 years. You let Mom die. You let her die when you could have saved her. Why would you suddenly care about my marriage? Silence on the other end. Then quietly, I have cancer, Eleanor. Pancreatic. Stage 4. I have perhaps a year, and I did not want to die with you hating me. The phone fell from Eleanor's hand. It clattered onto the hospital blanket. Raymond's voice continued, tiny and distant. Eleanor? Eleanor? Are you there? Mo picked up the phone. She said something Eleanor could not hear. Then she ended the call. What the hell was that? Mo asked. Eleanor stared at the ceiling, at the tiles she had counted last night. Her cheating husband wanted a divorce. Her dying father wanted forgiveness, and she was trapped in a hospital bed, unable to run from either of them. I do not know, she whispered. I do not know anything anymore. The next morning, A man Eleanor did not recognize walked into her hospital room. He wore an expensive gray suit. He carried a leather briefcase, and he introduced himself as Dennis Oakley, attorney at law. "I work for your father," Dennis said. He set the briefcase on the chair Mo had occupied yesterday. "He asked me to bring you some documents and some explanations." Eleanor's first instinct was to throw him out, to scream at him to leave. But something stopped her. Maybe it was the calm way he spoke. Maybe it was the exhaustion weighing her down. Maybe she just needed answers. "Talk," she said. Dennis opened his briefcase. He pulled out a folder thick with papers. "6 months ago, your father acquired a controlling interest in Whitmore Technologies. That is your husband's company. He did this through a shell corporation called Callaway Holdings. The acquisition was entirely legal and entirely secret." "Why?" Eleanor asked. "Why would he buy Grant's company?" "Because 3 years ago, your father hired private investigators to keep an eye on you from a distance. He wanted to know you were safe, that you were happy." Dennis paused. He looked at Eleanor with something like sympathy in his professional eyes. "He discovered you were neither. 3 years. The same amount of time Grant had been having his affair, the same amount of time Eleanor had been telling herself everything was fine. The investigators found evidence of your husband's infidelity," Dennis continued. "They also found evidence of financial misconduct. Your husband has been embezzling from his own company. Small amounts at first, then larger. He has been hiding the money in offshore accounts he set up using your name without your knowledge." Eleanor felt sick. "My name? If the embezzlement is discovered, you would be implicated. You would potentially face criminal charges. Your husband has been setting you up to take the fall for his crimes." The room spun. Eleanor gripped the bed rails. "That is not possible. Grant would not. He could not." But even as she said the words, she knew they were not true. Grant could. Grant would. Grant had already proven he was capable of anything. Serving divorce papers at her hospital bed was just the latest example. "Your father bought the company to protect you," Dennis said. "He now controls the investigation into the embezzlement. He can ensure the evidence points where it should point. At your husband, not at you." Eleanor's mind raced. She thought about her wedding day, Grant's vows, his promises, the way he looked at her like she was the center of his universe. She remembered their honeymoon in Italy, walking hand in hand through Florence, Grant pointing out architecture and history with the enthusiasm of a little boy. She had fallen deeper in love with him in those 2 weeks than in their entire courtship. She remembered coming home from the hospital after her hysterectomy, the flowers Grant sent to her room, the card that said, "We do not need children. We have each other." She had cried happy tears, but now those memories were tainted. Now she saw them through a different lens. Grant sending flowers because he felt guilty. Grant saying they did not need children because he was already planning to leave. Grant's enthusiasm on their honeymoon masking his true nature. A performance. All of it, a 12-year performance. "Mrs. Whitmore?" Dennis's voice pulled her back. "Are you all right?" "No," she said. "I am not all right. My husband has been cheating on me for 3 years. He has been stealing money and setting me up to take the blame. He served me divorce papers while I can barely breathe. And now you are telling me my estranged father has been watching me this whole time, like some kind of guardian angel. He prefers the term concerned parent. He let my mother die." The words came out harsh, bitter. He was rich. He could have paid for the best doctors, the best treatments. Instead, he hid his money and let her suffer. Dennis was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that surprised her. "Your mother asked him to." Eleanor froze. "What?" "Your mother knew about the money. She knew for years. She made your father promise not to use it on her medical care. She wanted him to save it for you, for your future. That is a lie. It is not. I was there when she made him promise. I have been your father's attorney for 30 years. I watched him tear himself apart honoring her wishes, and I watched him tear himself apart again when you cut him out of your life. Eleanor could not breathe. The monitors beeped faster. A nurse appeared in the doorway. Is everything okay in here? The nurse asked. Your readings just spiked. Fine, Eleanor managed. We are fine. The nurse hesitated, then left. Dennis watched Eleanor with careful eyes. I am not here to ask you to forgive your father, he said. I am here to tell you the truth and to offer you a choice. You can sign your husband's divorce papers and walk away, accept whatever scraps he decides to give you. Or you can fight, with your father's resources behind you. I do not want his resources. I do not want his help. Then what do you want? The question hung in the air. What did she want? She did not know anymore. She had wanted a happy marriage. She had wanted to grow old with Grant. She had wanted children before the doctors took that possibility away. None of those things existed anymore. They had never existed. They were illusions built on Grant's lies. Dennis stood up. He placed a flash drive on her bedside table. This contains everything, he said. Bank records, emails, wire transfers, proof of every dollar your husband has stolen, every account he has hidden, every lie he has told his board of directors. He handed her a business card. Call me when you decide what you want to do. Your father is prepared to help you, but only if you want his help. The choice is entirely yours. He left the room. The door clicked shut behind him. Eleanor stared at the flash drive. Such a small thing. Such enormous implications. She picked up her phone. She scrolled through 3 years of photos, looking for the truth she had refused to see. There. A company Christmas party. Grant in the background, turned slightly away from the camera. A blonde woman at his elbow. Vivian Holt. There. A weekend trip to Napa Valley. Grant checking his phone while Eleanor posed with a wine glass. His expression distant, his mind somewhere else. There. Their anniversary dinner last year. Grant's smile that did not reach his eyes. Eleanor beaming at the camera. Oblivious. She scrolled and scrolled. The evidence was everywhere. In plain sight. She had just refused to see it. That night, alone in her hospital room, Eleanor made a decision. She was not going to sign Grant's papers. She was not going to accept his scraps. She was not going to let him win. For the first time in 3 days, she felt something other than pain and shock. She felt angry. Eleanor discharged herself from the hospital 3 days early, against medical advice, against Mo's loud objections, against every instinct telling her to stay in bed and heal. But she could not heal lying in that room, not staring at those ceiling tiles, not waiting for Grant's lawyers to call with threats and deadlines. She needed to move. She needed to act. She needed to take control of something, even if it was just her own body. Mo helped her into a wheelchair, then into Mo's old Honda Civic. Every movement sent pain radiating through Eleanor's broken ribs. She gritted her teeth and endured it. Where are we going? Mo asked as she started the car. Eleanor gave her an address. A coffee shop downtown. Mo's eyebrows shot up. That is where Vivian Holt goes every morning. Her regular spot. How do you know that? Dennis told me. My father's people have been watching her too. Eleanor? Mo's voice was cautious. Are you sure this is a good idea? Confronting the other woman? I am not confronting her. I am recruiting her. The coffee shop was small and upscale. The kind of place that served $8 lattes and organic pastries. Eleanor sat at a corner table, with her walker beside her. Mo waited in the car, ready to intervene if things went wrong. Vivian Holt walked in at exactly 8:15, blonde, beautiful, younger than Eleanor by 4 years. She wore a tailored dress and carried herself with confidence. She looked like a woman who had everything figured out, until she saw Eleanor. Then her face went pale. Eleanor waved her over. Vivian hesitated at the door. For a moment, Eleanor thought she would run. But then something shifted in her expression. A decision made. She walked to Eleanor's table and sat down. "I was wondering when you would find me," Vivian said. "You were expecting this?" "I was expecting something. Grant's wife showing up at my coffee shop seemed inevitable." Eleanor studied the woman across from her, looking for smugness, for triumph, for the satisfied smile of a mistress who had won. She did not find any of those things. Instead, she saw fear, exhaustion, and something that looked almost like relief. "You are not what I expected," Eleanor said. "Neither are you." Vivian glanced at Eleanor's walker, at the careful way she was sitting. "I heard about your accident and about the divorce papers. Everyone at the company heard. Does everyone also know about your affair with my husband?" Vivian flinched. "Some people suspect." Grant was not exactly subtle. No, he was not. Silence fell between them. A barista called out someone's order. An espresso machine hissed and steamed. "I did not know he was married," Vivian said quietly. "Not at first. He told me he was divorced. By the time I learned the truth, I was already in too deep." Something shifted in Eleanor's understanding. She had come here expecting to hate this woman, expecting to find a villain. Instead, she was finding another victim. "You tried to end it," Eleanor said. "It was not a question." 3 times. Vivian's hands trembled around her coffee cup. "And every time he threatened me, my job, my reputation, my career. He said he would destroy me if I ever told anyone about us." Eleanor leaned forward. This was what she had come for. "What else did he threaten you about?" Vivian looked around the coffee shop, making sure no one was listening. Then she leaned in close. "Grant has been using me to move money," she whispered. "Accounts in my name that I never signed up for. Wire transfers through my bank that I never authorized. If anyone investigates the embezzlement, my name is all over it. I could go to prison, Eleanor, for crimes I did not commit." Eleanor felt the pieces clicking into place. Grant had not just been having an affair. He had been using Vivian the same way he had been using Eleanor. Another pawn, another fall guy, another person to blame when his house of cards collapsed. "You have proof?" Eleanor asked. "I have everything. Bank statements, emails, recordings. I have been collecting them for months, trying to figure out how to get out without going down with him." "Why did you not go to the police?" "Because Grant threatened me." Vivian's voice dropped even lower. "He said if I ever talked, he would make sure I took the blame for everything. He said he has connections, lawyers, people who could destroy me. I believed him." Eleanor thought about the flash drive in her pocket, the evidence her father had collected, evidence that could exonerate both of them and bury Grant forever. "What if I told you there was another way?" Eleanor said. "A way to expose Grant without either of us taking the fall." Vivian's eyes widened. "How?" "My father owns Grant's company." "Grant does not know. No one knows. But my father has access to everything. Every document, every transaction, every lie Grant has ever told." The words hung in the air. Vivian stared at Eleanor like she was speaking a foreign language. "Your father owns Whitmore Technologies, controlling interest, through a shell corporation. That is not possible. The parent company is some European conglomerate. Callaway Holdings or something. Callaway is my maiden name." Vivian's mouth fell open. She sat back in her chair. Her coffee sat forgotten between them. "Why are you telling me this?" Vivian finally asked. "Because I need your evidence, the things you have collected, to add to what my father already has. And in return, I make sure the investigation clears your name. Every document you were forced to sign gets traced back to Grant's forgery. Every account in your name gets connected to his criminal activity. You walk away clean. That sounds too good to be true. Maybe it is, but I am offering it anyway." Vivian reached into her purse. She pulled out a small flash drive, identical to the one Eleanor's father had given her. I have been carrying this with me every day for 6 months, Vivian said, waiting for the right person to give it to, waiting for someone who could actually do something with it. She slid the flash drive across the table. I am not doing this for you, Vivian said. I am doing this because I am not going to prison for that man. Eleanor took the flash drive. It felt heavier than it should. Years of evidence, proof of Grant's crimes, the key to her freedom. Thank you, Eleanor said. Do not thank me yet. Grant is dangerous when he is cornered. Whatever you are planning, be careful. Eleanor pocketed the flash drive. She reached for her walker. One more question, she said. Did you ever love him? Grant? Was any of it real for you? Vivian was quiet for a long moment. Then she shook her head. I thought I did. At the beginning. But you cannot love someone who does not exist. Grant only showed me a character, a role he was playing. The real Grant is whoever serves his interests in the moment. I was useful to him, that is all. And when I stopped being useful, he would have thrown me away too. Just like he is trying to throw you away. Vivian stood. For what it is worth, I am sorry. For all of it. For being part of this without knowing. For not coming to you sooner. You are coming to me now. That is what matters. Vivian nodded once. Then she walked out of the coffee shop, back into her life, leaving Eleanor alone with 2 flash drives and the weight of everything they contained. Raymond Calloway's estate sat on 50 acres of rolling hills outside the city. Eleanor had never seen it before. In 15 years of estrangement, she had never even known where her father lived. The house was enormous, a sprawling mansion of stone and glass that looked like it belonged in a magazine. But the grounds were peaceful. Gardens everywhere, a small lake, an orchard heavy with apple. Raymond met her at the door. He looked worse than she had expected. The cancer was progressing. His expensive suit hung loose on his thin frame. His face was gaunt. His eyes were tired. But they were her eyes, the same hazel green she saw in the mirror every day. Thank you for coming, he said. Thank you for not lying to me. He led her through the house to a study lined with books. A fire crackled in the fireplace. Even though it was late spring, Eleanor settled into a leather armchair. Her body ached from the journey. Dennis tells me your meeting with Vivian went well, Raymond said. Depends on your definition of well. She gave me her evidence. She is willing to cooperate. Good. That is important. Eleanor studied her father's face, looking for the villain she had created in her mind 15 years ago, looking for the man who let her mother die. She found only a tired old man, a dying man, a man who looked at her with something that might have been hope. I need to know the truth, Eleanor said. About Mom, about all of it. Dennis said she knew about the money, that she made you promise not to use it on her treatment. Is that true? Raymond was quiet for a long moment. He stared into the fire. Yes, he finally said. It is true. Why? Why would she do that? Because she knew where the money came from. He turned to face her. His eyes were wet. I was not always a good man, Eleanor. In my younger years, I did things I am not proud of. Business decisions that hurt people. Competitors I destroyed. Partners I betrayed. Your mother knew all of it. She stayed with me anyway. But she drew the line at using that money to extend her own life. She said it was blood money. That she would rather die than benefit from it. And you just accepted that? You just let her die? What choice did I have? Raymond's voice cracked. She was my wife. She made me promise on everything I held sacred. She made me swear I would honor her wishes. And I did. Even though it destroyed me. Even though I have regretted it every single day since. Eleanor felt tears threatening. She blinked them back. If you want to hate me, you have every right, Raymond continued. I hate myself. I have hated myself for 15 years, but your mother wanted something else from me. She wanted me to watch over you, to protect you from a distance, to only intervene if you truly needed help. He reached into his desk drawer, pulled out a stack of envelopes. Old envelopes, yellowed with age, tied together with a faded ribbon. These are her letters, Raymond said. She wrote them for you. Over the years, whenever something important happened, your graduation, your wedding, when you got your promotion at work, she wrote to you even though she knew she would not be there to see any of it. Eleanor took the letters with trembling hands. She asked me to hold them until you were ready, Raymond continued. I have been waiting 15 years to know if it is time. Eleanor untied the ribbon. The first letter was dated 3 months before her mother died. The handwriting was shaky, but unmistakable. My dearest Eleanor, if you are reading this, I am already gone, and I am so sorry, my darling girl. I am sorry for leaving you. I am sorry for the secrets. I am sorry for all the things I could not explain while I was alive. Your father loves you more than you will ever know, more than he knows how to say. He has made mistakes, terrible mistakes. But so have I. We all have. Do not spend your life angry, Eleanor. Do not let bitterness poison the years you have left. Your father needs you. And whether you know it or not, you need him too. I love you. I have always loved you. I will always love you. Be brave, my darling. Be kind. And be happy. Forever yours, Mom. Eleanor could not see through her tears. The words blurred on the page. 15 years of anger. 15 years of silence. And her mother had been asking for reconciliation all along. She wanted us to find our way back to each other, Raymond said quietly. She believed we would, eventually. Eleanor read through the letters one by one, her mother's voice speaking from beyond the grave, wisdom and love and forgiveness flowing through ink and paper. When she finished, hours had passed. The fire had burned down to embers. Raymond sat silently across from her, patient, waiting. I do not know if I can forgive you, Eleanor finally said. Not completely, not yet. I am not asking for forgiveness. What are you asking for? Time. Whatever time I have left. I do not want to die as strangers. Eleanor looked at her dying father, at the man she had hated for 15 years, at the man who had been watching over her all along. I do not want that either, she said. She did not hug him. They were not there yet. But she reached out and took his hand. His grip was weak, fragile, the grip of a man who knew his days were numbered. What do you want to do about Grant? Raymond asked. I want justice, Eleanor said, for both of us, for Vivian, for everyone he has hurt. And if he will not give you justice willingly, then we take it from him. Raymond smiled. It was a sad smile, but there was pride in it too. Your mother would be proud of you, he said. I hope so. Eleanor squeezed his hand. I really hope so. 2 weeks later, Eleanor met Grant for dinner. His choice of restaurant, his choice of time. He thought he was in control. He was not. Eleanor arrived first. She had chosen her outfit carefully. A navy blue dress that made her look confident. Her mother's pearl earrings. Heels that hurt her still healing pelvis. Every piece selected as armor for the battle ahead. She could walk now without the walker. Slowly, painfully, but on her own 2 feet. That mattered. Grant walked in at 7 sharp. He wore his charming smile like a mask. He kissed her cheek like they were old friends catching up. He ordered a bottle of wine without asking what she wanted. He always did that. You look good, Grant said. Much better than when I saw you at the hospital. Thank you. I am healing. I am glad you wanted to meet. I think we should handle this like adults. No drama, no lawyers drawing things out, a clean break. Eleanor sipped her wine. It was a good vintage. Grant always had excellent taste in wine. Terrible taste in morality, but excellent taste in wine. I have had my lawyer draw up a revised settlement offer, Grant continued. More generous than the original. I think you will find it fair. How generous? The house. Your car. Enough to cover your medical expenses. It is more than reasonable, Eleanor. More than reasonable. He was offering her crumbs from a table he had been secretly clearing for years. Offshore accounts, hidden assets, stolen money. And he thought she would be grateful for his generosity. I have been thinking about our marriage, Eleanor said. All 12 years of it. I have been thinking about when you changed. Was it gradual, or was there a moment? I am curious, Grant's smile flickered. This was not the script he had prepared. What do you mean? I mean, when did you decide I was not enough? When did you start planning your exit strategy? When did you start sleeping with Vivian? His face went pale. Just for a second, then the mask slid back into place. Eleanor, I do not know what you have heard, but I have heard everything, Grant. I have seen everything. Photos of you and Vivian. Bank statements from accounts I never knew existed. Emails between you and your lawyer planning how to leave me with nothing. That is not. I have also had some interesting conversations with my father lately. You remember Raymond? You met him at our wedding. He has been so interested in your career recently, especially your work at Whitmore Technologies. Grant set down his wineglass. His hand was shaking. Your father? You have not spoken to him in years. We are reconnecting. He has been very helpful, very informative. Eleanor leaned forward, watching his face, savoring the moment. Did you know he has been tracking your offshore accounts? Every wire transfer, every fake invoice, every dollar you have stolen from your own company. The color drained from Grant's face completely. For the first time since she had known him, he looked genuinely afraid. Eleanor. His voice was tight. Whatever you think you know, I know you have been embezzling for 3 years. I know you have been using my name on fraudulent accounts. I know you plan to leave me holding the bag while you ran off with your mistress and your stolen money. That is absurd. You cannot prove any of that. Actually, I can. Vivian was very cooperative. She had quite a collection of evidence. It matches perfectly with what my father's investigators found. Grant's jaw clenched. His charming mask crumbled completely. What do you want? He asked. I want a fair divorce settlement, an accurate accounting of our marital assets, half of everything, including the money you hid. And if I refuse? Eleanor smiled. It was not a nice smile. Then my father turns over his evidence to the FBI, and you spend the next 10 to 15 years in federal prison. Your choice, Grant. She stood up. Every movement sent pain through her healing bones, but she did not let it show. She picked up her purse. She left a $20 bill on the table for the wine. I will be in touch, she said. Oh, and Grant, your deadline is Friday. I think that is more than fair. She walked out of the restaurant. Behind her, she heard Grant calling her name, demanding she come back, threatening, pleading. She did not look back. Mo was waiting in the parking lot. She took one look at Eleanor's face and grinned. How did it go? I made him sweat. Good. He deserves to sweat. He deserves a lot worse than sweating. Eleanor climbed into the car. The adrenaline was wearing off. Her hands started to shake. I cannot believe I did that, she said. I cannot believe I just threatened my husband with federal prison. Ex-husband. Soon-to-be ex-husband. Right. Soon-to-be ex-husband. Eleanor laughed. The sound surprised her. It felt good. Mo started the car. Where to now? My father's estate. We have work to do. Grant did not go quietly. 3 days after the restaurant confrontation, Eleanor received a certified letter from his lawyers. Not a settlement offer. A threat. Grant was claiming she had been involved in the embezzlement, that the offshore accounts were her idea, that she had manipulated him into the scheme and was now trying to frame him to cover her own guilt. He was also suing for sole ownership of the house, full custody of their assets. and reimbursement for the emotional distress her false accusations had caused him. Eleanor read the letter 3 times. Each time her blood ran colder. "He is doubling down," she said to Dennis. "He is actually trying to make me the villain." "That was always his plan," Dennis replied. "If he could not escape the investigation, he would drag you down with him. The question is whether anyone will believe him. Will they?" Dennis shook his head. "Not with the evidence we have, but he does not know that yet. He thinks you are bluffing. He thinks your father's involvement is a lie." "So what do? We call his bluff." The next week was a blur of legal meetings and strategic planning. Dennis assembled a team of lawyers, forensic accountants, private investigators, all working to build an airtight case against Grant. But Grant had resources too. Connections, friends in high places. He started a whisper campaign against Eleanor, telling colleagues she was mentally unstable, that the accident had affected her brain, that she was making up wild accusations because she could not accept the divorce. Some people believed him. Eleanor started getting looks at the grocery store. Former friends stopped returning her calls. Someone left a note on her car that said, "Gold digger." The cruelest part was that Grant had convinced his own sister. Charlotte Whitmore called Eleanor one night, screaming, accusing her of trying to destroy their family. "How can you do this to him?" Charlotte demanded. "He gave you everything. He loved you. And this is how you repay him?" "Charlotte," Eleanor said as calmly as she could, "your brother has been cheating on me for 3 years. He has been stealing money from his own company. He served me divorce papers while I was in a hospital bed. Lies. All lies. Grant told me you would say this. He told me you have been planning this for months, that you trapped him into this marriage, that you have been manipulating everyone around you." The line went dead. Eleanor sat in the dark for a long time that night, wondering if she was doing the right thing, wondering if the truth even mattered when lies were so much easier to believe. Mo found her at 2 in the morning, sitting in the bathtub, fully clothed, the water running cold around her. "Oh, honey." Mo pulled her out of the tub, wrapped her in towels, made her drink hot tea. "What happened?" "Everyone believes him," Eleanor said through chattering teeth. "Everyone thinks I am the crazy one, the gold digger, the manipulator. Not everyone. Enough people. Enough to make me doubt myself." Mo sat down beside her, took her hand. "Here's the thing about abusers," Mo said quietly. "They are charming. That is how they get away with it for so long. They convince everyone around them that they are the good guy, that their victim is the problem. It is not a reflection of you, Eleanor. It is a reflection of how good he is at lying. What if I cannot win? Then you go down fighting, but you do not let him win by giving up." Eleanor looked at her best friend, at the woman who had been there through everything, who had seen the truth when everyone else was blind. "I am scared," Eleanor admitted. "I have never been this scared in my life." "Good. Fear means you understand the stakes, but you are not alone. You have me. You have your father. You have the truth, and the truth matters, Eleanor, even when it feels like it does not." The next morning, Eleanor woke up with a new resolve. She was done playing defense, done waiting for Grant to make the next move. It was time to take the fight to him. 3 weeks later, Grant Whitmore walked into the quarterly board meeting at Whitmore Technologies feeling confident. His numbers looked good. His presentation was polished. The new majority shareholder was finally attending in person, and Grant was ready to impress. He had spent the past month in damage control. Eleanor's threats at the restaurant had scared him at first, but his lawyers assured him she had no real leverage. The offshore accounts were buried deep. The evidence was circumstantial. His whisper campaign was working. Eleanor was bluffing. She had to be bluffing. The boardroom filled with familiar faces. directors Grant had worked with for years, the CFO of the parent company, the legal team, and then two people walked in that Grant did not recognize. The first was a distinguished man in an expensive suit, Dennis Oakley, according to his name tag, general counsel for Callaway Holdings. The second was a woman. She wore a navy blue dress and pearl earrings. She walked slowly, carefully, like someone still healing from serious injuries. Grant's heart stopped. "Eleanor, welcome," Grant said. His voice sounded strange in his own ears. "Eleanor, what are you doing here?" Eleanor did not answer. She walked to the head of the table, the seat reserved for the majority shareholder. She sat down. Dennis remained standing. He opened his briefcase. "The agenda has changed," Dennis announced. "Instead of quarterly earnings, we will be reviewing some financial irregularities that have come to our attention, specifically a pattern of embezzlement spanning the past 3 years." Grant's mouth opened. No sound came out. "We have bank records," Dennis continued, "wire transfer confirmations, falsified invoices, internal memos, all pointing to systematic theft of company funds." He slid a document across the table. Grant's signature at the bottom. "Authorization for a transfer to an offshore account." "We also have testimony from Vivian Holt," Dennis said, "a junior executive who was unknowingly used to launder stolen funds. She has provided sworn statements detailing her involvement and Mr. Whitmore's manipulation." Another document, another signature, another nail in Grant's coffin. "Finally, we have cooperation from federal investigators. The FBI has been building a case for the past 6 weeks. Today's meeting will determine whether this company cooperates fully with their investigation." Grant found his voice. "This is absurd. These documents are fabricated. This is a hostile takeover disguised as a criminal investigation." "The documents are genuine," Eleanor said quietly. "Every word, every signature, every dollar. I have forensic accountants who can verify every transaction. I have digital experts who can trace every wire transfer." She stood up, walked slowly to where Grant sat, looked down at him with eyes that held no pity, no fear, only truth. "And I have 12 years of marriage that taught me exactly who you are." "The board will vote on immediate suspension of Mr. Whitmore's duties," Dennis announced. "All in favor?" Every hand in the room went up. Every director Grant had schmoozed and manipulated over the years. Every person he thought was loyal to him. "The board will vote on full cooperation with federal investigators." All in favor? Every hand again. "The board will vote to terminate Mr. Whitmore's employment for cause effective immediately." All in favor? Unanimous. Grant slammed his hands on the table. "You cannot do this. I built this company. I made you people millions. You owe me. We owe you nothing." One of the directors spoke, a woman Grant had dismissed as a figurehead for years. "You stole from this company. You lied to this board. You forged documents and manipulated employees. You are lucky we are only firing you and not pressing charges directly. We will leave the charges to the professionals," Eleanor said. "The FBI has expressed great interest in your creative accounting." Security guards appeared at the door. Grant looked around the room one last time, searching for an ally, a friend, anyone who might help him. He found no one. They escorted him from the building. He carried a cardboard box of personal items, his nameplate, his diplomas, a photo from his wedding that he left in the parking lot. Eleanor watched from the window of the boardroom. Mo stood beside her. "How do you feel?" Mo asked. "I do not know," Eleanor said honestly. "I thought I would feel satisfied, triumphant. I just feel tired." "That is okay." Mo put an arm around her. "You just ended a war. You are allowed to be tired." Eleanor watched Grant's car pull out of the parking lot, watched him drive away from the life he had destroyed through his own greed and cruelty. It was over, almost. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. Grant had pleaded guilty to reduced charges. His lawyers negotiated a deal: 18 months in minimum security, a fine he would struggle to pay. The permanent end of his career in finance. Eleanor did not attend the sentencing. She did not need to see him in handcuffs. She did not need closure that came from watching him suffer. She needed peace, and peace would not be found in a courtroom. The settlement gave her half of the legitimate marital assets: the house, her car, enough money to start over. The stolen funds were recovered and returned to the company. Vivian Holt's name was cleared completely. She moved to Seattle afterward, started over in a different industry. Charlotte Whitmore reached out 2 months after the trial, a tearful voicemail apologizing for everything she had said, begging for forgiveness. Eleanor called her back. They met for coffee. It was awkward at first, painful, but Charlotte was genuinely sorry. She had not known the truth about her brother. She had believed his lies the way everyone believed his lies. They became friends, unlikely friends. But sometimes the people who understood you best were the ones who shared the perpetrator. Raymond's cancer continued to advance, but the relationship between father and daughter continued to grow. Eleanor visited every Sunday. They sat in his study, read her mother's letters together, talked about the past and the future and everything in between. "I have been thinking about what I want to do next," Eleanor told him during one of their Sunday visits. "With my life, I mean." "And what have you decided?" "I am going back to work. My old job. They have offered me a promotion, actually." Raymond raised an eyebrow. "Not interested in taking over my empire?" Eleanor laughed. "Not even a little bit. I am not a business mogul. I am a marketing director who is good at her job and likes her coworkers and wants to go home at 5 to walk her dog." "You have a dog?" "I am getting one. A rescue. I have already found him at the shelter. His name is Biscuit." Raymond smiled, a real smile that reached his tired eyes. "Your mother would approve. She always wanted you to have a dog." "I know. She mentioned it in one of her letters." They sat in comfortable silence, the kind of silence that did not need to be filled, the kind that came from understanding. "I am proud of you," Raymond said. "Not because of Grant, not because of any of this. I am proud of who you have become." Eleanor felt tears threaten. She blinked them back. "I am trying," she said. "Every day I am trying to figure out who I am, without being someone's wife, someone's disappointment, someone's victim. You were never any of those things. Not really. You were always Eleanor. You just forgot for a while." She reached over and took his hand. His grip was weaker than it had been 3 months ago. The cancer was winning, but his eyes were at peace. "Thank you," she said, "for everything, for watching over me, for waiting until I was ready, for giving me the tools to save myself." "You saved yourself, Eleanor. I just provided some resources. Still, thank you." He squeezed her hand. "Thank you for giving an old man another chance." Raymond Calloway died peacefully in his sleep 3 months later. Eleanor was holding his hand when it happened. She had moved into the estate for his final weeks, sleeping in the guest room, spending every possible moment by his side. They had talked for hours those last days, about her mother, about the past, about the future Raymond would not see, about the mistakes they had both made, and the forgiveness they had both found. "I am not afraid," Raymond said 2 days before the end. "I have made my peace. With your mother. With you. With everything I have done. I am glad. Promise me something. Anything. Do not spend your life looking backward. Do not let regret poison the years you have left. Live forward. Eleanor, that is all I ask," she promised, and she meant it. 1 year later, Eleanor sat in her garden. Biscuit dozed in a patch of sunshine at her feet. A cup of coffee cooled on the table beside her. The morning was perfect. Quiet. Hers. She had sold her father's mansion. donated most of his fortune to charity, kept enough to buy a small cottage with a garden and a room for Biscuit and morning light that streamed through the kitchen windows. The company Raymond had built was in good hands. She had hired a CEO she trusted, someone who shared her values about ethical business and charitable giving. She served on the board but did not run the day-to-day operations. That was not her calling. Her calling was smaller, quieter, a house with a garden and a dog, and a job that challenged her without consuming her, friends who had become family, peace that she had fought for and earned. Mo was getting married next month. Eleanor was the maid of honor. She had spent the past 6 months helping plan the wedding, arguing about flower arrangements, taste testing 14 different cakes. It felt normal. It felt good. It felt like the life she was supposed to be living all along. Sometimes late at night, she still thought about Grant. Not with anger anymore, not even with sadness, just a distant curiosity about the man she had married, the man she had loved, the man who had never really existed. He was out of prison now, living in another state, working some anonymous job, his reputation destroyed, his empire gone, his charm exposed for what it always was. Eleanor did not wish him ill. She did not wish him anything at all. He was simply someone she used to know. A chapter in a book she had closed. Her phone buzzed. A text from Mo. "Brunch tomorrow. I found the most hideous bridesmaid dresses you have ever seen. You are going to love them." Eleanor laughed, typed back, "Cannot wait. Bring the ugly dresses. I have opinions." She set the phone down, picked up her coffee, watched the birds in her garden. "Here's what I have learned," she thought. "Sometimes we need others to remind us the door was never locked. Sometimes accepting help is not weakness. It is wisdom. And sometimes the person we are waiting to save us is ourselves." The sun was warm on her face. Biscuit stretched and yawned and settled back into his nap. Somewhere in the distance, a church bell rang the hour. Eleanor smiled. She thought about her mother's letters, about all the moments her mother had written about without being there to see them. Graduation, wedding, promotions, and now this. A quiet morning, in a garden, a cup of coffee, a rescue dog named Biscuit, a life rebuilt from the ashes of betrayal. "I did it, Mom," Eleanor whispered. "I found my way back." The breeze stirred the flowers. The birds sang their morning songs. And Eleanor Calloway sat in her garden, whole, healed, free, not because someone saved her, because she had learned to save herself. If you have ever felt alone in your struggle, you are not alone anymore. This channel is your community. If this story touches your heart, leave a comment below. Share your own experience. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every week, we bring you stories of strength, survival, and transformation, like this video. If you believe every woman deserves to know her worth, share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Now, let the story begin. Closing disclaimer: this content has been carefully researched, developed, and manually edited by our team to deliver meaningful stories with valuable life lessons. Every character, every scene, and every word has been crafted to inspire, empower, and remind you that no matter how dark the chapter, your story is not over. Thank you for being part of our community.